Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to talk about the issue of a process taking the path of a power play. And again, this is one of the fork in the road subjects, okay, in terms of a process. Talk about following a path that advocates in terms of influence being an active agent at the very beginning versus, okay, motivating a response using motivating agents such as treats to get a dog to respond, and then the assumptions that are made by way of the sit down, come and stay. And I talk about why is that does not align for so many. It's so common based on the current state of the relationship. Understand that changes everything. Reconciling, okay, how a dog's decision-making process is governed. Dogs are social animals. Now, again, I talk about this whole power play type of scenario, okay, understand that, you know, going to the parenting example as the kind of go-to, okay, because it's very helpful when I talk about, you know, a process. I talk about behavioral issues. I talk about influence, okay, why it's necessary. Always consider the parenting example. It's very helpful to help people reconcile, okay, a process. And so again, you know, looking at, I talk about a power play and kind of like challenge and kickback, okay, kind of like not liking, okay, a dog not liking the fact that you're changing, that you're interacting differently, okay, which you need to, okay, is again, think about, okay, again, going back to the selfish child example, which is again is a helpful example to go by. Consider the already selfish child who doesn't like, okay, the parent that's starting to align with the authoritative parenting style, starting to interact differently with them, starting to have that moment of realizing, hey, I got a problem and I need to engage differently, okay, because you care, okay? That's the whole point, is because you care, and you care enough that you're going to do the right thing. And understand this whole thing about, I talk about this issue about conflict and about a power play and then people's emotions getting all mixed up in that stuff. But think about the parenting example. You know, it's not going to be a fun thing, okay? I mean, it's you know, it comes off kind of confrontational. But understand that when I talk about confrontation, and you look at the parenting styles and consider the authoritarian parenting style, okay? That's, you know, kind of over the top in terms of influence not lining up versus, you know, authoritative, okay, which is the agreed upon parenting style by experts, saying that that's the right parenting style, by way of, again, of influence, okay, about, you know, how things are reconciled through how you're interacting with a child, with limits, okay, boundaries, you know, how you're, you know, interacting with all those themes being dialed in, all the things I talk about. But again, talk about power play. Well, yeah, it's the fact that the child that's already selfish isn't gonna like the new parent. But deep down, the good news is that deep down they know the parent, if the parent indeed is following the right parenting style, the child will have a sense of knowing that the parent cares, okay? That's the difference, okay? And finding comfort that way. Otherwise, again, where's the comfort, right? The child that's selfish is out of control, right? And things aren't going well because it affects everything. It affects, you know, you as a parent, the people around them, their, you know, those they interact with, and ultimately, as they get older, everything else. I mean, the first job, it just has a domino effect. And so again, but the issue about not liking and the issue about pushback and about challenge, well, those are things that go along with that. In fact, you should expect it. But again, with how you deal with it, though, that's the thing. It's about how you deal with those things. It's about doing it in such a way that the child's going to make sense of it. Okay, even though they don't like it, they make sense of it, and they again become more and more agreeable as their attitude starts to change, as you invest as a parent the right way, and it starts to have a change of their attitude based on your parenting. It's no different. So again, these are important things. These are important things to talk about, because I understand that this is one of the things with, I talk about reconciling the response, and going back to with dogs, reconciling the response of dogs. I mean, it's very difficult for people to reconcile a dog going into a level of challenge at the very beginning, okay, when it's all about emotion, right? Because they're saying, well, it must be something, physical, right? The dog must be, in physical pain. And it's when ultimately it's, in many cases, it's physiological. It's mind and body. The mind affects the body. And so a dog is already under tremendous stress because they're holding control already. Think about the parenting example. I mean, you can have a child have a major temper tantrum because the parent's changing and they're having a major fit and they're rolling around the floor. Well, it's no different than looking at it and say, well, the parent must have struck the child. And then look at that and say, well, okay, did you even consider that maybe it corresponds with the bad attitude of the child, okay? That it doesn't line up that way. I mean, think about it, right? I mean, that's the problem. Understand that's the issue, is that people are not, there's no depth, okay? Even in terms of what's popular. Think about just, motivating dogs at the very beginning, the way that people are doing it. Well, it plays off of people's emotions, and it's all appearance. It doesn't reveal the truth of anything, right? Nothing's revealed that way. You're not going to get those type of reactions because it's not even following the right path. Okay, it's like, getting a child to make their bed for, a new Xbox game, a big deal. Okay, I mean, and selling it that way, see, that's what's going on. Line it up. I encourage people, line this stuff up. And then you wonder, come out on the other side, well, nothing's really changed. I mean, I'm still dealing with a dog that is not good, still all these behavioral problems, and then people want to blame dogs. Well, no, it's actually the blame of way people are jumping in and simply getting a dog to respond by way of using motivators. And influence isn't an active agent. I mean, think about it. It's not interaction based that way. Okay, it follows a whole different path, and this is what 99% of what's popular, what dog trainers are doing. Without me going there, understand I'm not, I'm going to put out videos that talk in general terms, talk about the stuff, but that's the problem. It's so popular, right, that if you say anything against it, people get upset because it's become normalized. I mean, there you have it. That's it in a kind of a nutshell. So, all to say that the process, it has to be a power play. And so when you look at my methodology, look at the one-step method with the intentional nature of what it's designed to do, okay, you'll see that. But again, I want to caution people, like when you're dealing with dogs that have gained a high level of control, and you're looking at my methodology and you're like saying, yeah, I'm going to use Dale's one-step method. No, you need to actually, call me up and get proper guidance and stuff, and make sure the muzzle, and be very, very intentional. I mean, how I do stuff, you would see my video content, but again, I put out a disclaimer, there's things going on. When I'm working with people in person, I can make certain adjustments, okay, depending on the situation, to make sure, keep it leveled out and safe for everybody. Because if it is a power play, right, there's going to be a level of challenge, and then say you've followed that emotional path, and that's what's got you in trouble to begin with. You start to go a different path. You got to make sure it's all following the right path, but setting up so that it keeps it safe for people, get the highest possible level of agreeableness with the dog while you're creating change at the same time. So there's those dynamics that need to kind of fall into place. So I encourage anyone that has an awareness and sees what I'm talking about is to contact me. I mean, and whether even through a distance help, is to get the right help so I can guide people properly through the process. So, and that's important. So all to say that, it's about following the right path. It needs to be a power play. Think of the parenting example with everything, okay? Whether it's how people want to talk about learning theory and all those things. Think about the parenting example. It'll make complete sense why this, that very popular idea, why it falls apart for so many people. And when I talk about a power play, why it needs to be exactly that. Thanks for watching.